So I was just repeating for you the 10 indriyas. They merge with the mana. The mana and indriya set merges with the buddhi, and this buddhi, it connects up with the prana. Prana, in which now udana has become the major element. So that is why it has been separated, and it said prana tejasa yukta, that prana which is uh, uh, connected with udana, along with the atma, sahatmana, yatha sankalpitam lokam nayati, it goes to the preordained lok. So again we see that the udan only is carrying this set. So that set which was there earlier is not was not complete. Now we have completed it with chitta and all the pranas. So one question which Shanta asked was, why should we take the mind to be the seat of the soul? Now you are seeing that Pippalad himself is telling us that Chitta is the one which is the subtlest one. And once now the Chitta is there, then the soul also can join, because actually the soul is joined to the Chitta only. And there was one more question which I had kept pending here. Somebody, I think, Vidya, you had asked. I said we'll see it in the next question, next Kandika. Okay, anyway, so this is the meaning of this. Or maybe Rajeshri, I think I had kept yours pending. Yeah. So you were saying that what is the connection with this Udana? So this is the connection with Udana, that Udana now is capable of transporting the soul along with all the other pranas.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Now it completes actually that whole sequence.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Okay, I'm stopping the chair.
Sukshma Sharir also has prana in it.
Right? Yes. Okay, so now I also want to tell you about 5 other pranas. You remember I had told you earlier about this
Upaprana.
Upaprana, correct. So I will just share one more screen with you. So these are the Upapranas which are there. So the first one is called Naga. This causes burping and hiccups. Then there is Kurma. This is causes blinking. Then you have Krikala, that leads to yawning. Then you have Devadatta, which causes sneezing, and Dhananjay, that causes swelling of wounds. So you can see it seems like a very weird list, but if you think about it, burping and hiccups, for example, okay, they don't come directly from your lungs. They come from your stomach. So the area from which it is coming is different. So that is why this is treated as a separate prana. But of course, finally, all the air goes in from the nose or the mouth only. That is why it is upaprana. Okay, and of course, all these are they show themselves only at certain times. All the other 5 pranas are taking care of all the involuntary activities at all times, and voluntary activities when you call on them. But the involuntary requires those 5 pranas to exist at all times. Okay, these now, like burping and hiccups, this will happen only when you need to burp or you need to hiccup. Similarly, this blinking, okay, and yawning, sneezing. Blinking now, I think it is put in over here because it is kind of an involuntary. It is it is something in between voluntary and involuntary motion. So many times you're not aware and you are blinking. So that is caused by this prana. And then you have yawning, which is again both voluntary, involuntary. Then you have sneezing, which is largely involuntary. And then this swelling of wounds. I did some more research on this and I discovered that this prana is supposed to cause any kind of swelling in your body. Okay. So as you know, when you have a swelling, it need not necessarily contain cells in it. So that means it contains vayu only in it. And more importantly, this Dhananjay stays in your body at all times, everywhere. And this is the one which it is said is left behind in the body. And that is why the body starts swelling up after death. So that is supposed to be Dhananjay Prana. Okay, that was a very interesting discovery for me. Okay. So
So what
Any
do you mean by
etymology?
Vidya, can you
Sorry.
go first, please?
Yeah, what does it mean by it gets left behind? So then the next time, where do you get the Dhananjay from?
That the prana will generate. See,
Okay.
finally, when it the subtle body enters the new body, no, it is the prana which sets everything else into motion.
Again, okay.
Yeah, and these are upa pranas which are generated definitely after your body is fully created. Till you are inside the womb, it will not be there, but all the other pranas will come into effect even in the womb.
Yeah, true. These are not needed. Okay.
Yeah, Prashanti.
No, I was just going to ask any etymology or
No,
anything
really.
behind the names.
Whatever I will tell you will be based on guesswork only. So I would prefer not to tell you. But Naga, means serpent, and Kurma means a turtle. Krikala, I was not
Right.
able to find out what it is. Devadatta is given by the Lord, and Dhananjay means the one who has won wealth. So directly, they are not really applicable. So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, so I could only guess and tell you which is not correct. Okay,
Okay.
so these are the 5 upapranas. Okay. Okay, before let me complete this chapter, then I want to go over the karanas once again. Since you people were having doubts last time, I just want to make it clear to you so that you don't have a doubt ever. Okay, next one. Ya evam vidvan pranam veda.
Yeah,
Evam
vidvan
vidvan pranam veda
न हास्य प्रजाहीयते
na
na
hasya prajahiyate
prajahiyate
अमृतो भवति
amrito
bhavati
bhavati
तदेष श्लोकः.
tadesha
shlokah.
shlokaha.
So तदेष shloka, this is the saying that the learned person, vidwan, who knows this, knows all this about prana or knows prana as such, then his praja never declines. Okay, now the praja here is taken to be his offspring, which is the usual meaning that when we say the praja for a family, then you are talking of the offsprings of the parents of a person. For a raja, the praja is the subjects, but for a person, the praja is the offspring. See, praja comes from janma. Okay, pra is a prefix, ja stands for janma. So that which is born to a person. Okay, so for a raja, the praja is born in a specific way by his coronation, and from the parents, of course, we all know how the praja is born. But I have an issue here because a person who attains moksha cannot be a family person. Okay, you have to leave your family in case if you want to attain moksha. Family implies that there are attachments, there are responsibilities, there are duties which you have to perform, which are not linked to your spiritual path. A person who achieves moksha is one who has to spend all their energies on the path of moksha and nothing else. That could include giving sermons, but it cannot include taking care of other people's needs, or even your own um, needs for comforts or pleasures. Okay, so that is why a person who is to attain moksha, who is to become amrita, cannot be a family person. Therefore, according to me, this praja here means their body. So that which is arisen out of them only to produce this body, that will never become kshina, will never decline. And that seems very logical actually, because once you have understood the science of prana, then you will always be able to stay healthy. You will know what is required by what a part of your body uh, to stay healthy, and that you will make sure that it reaches that part. Okay, so that is why I think this praja over here means um, the indriyas and the gross body.
Yeah, for once, the minute you read, somehow even the thought of like Indriyas is what has come to my mind too when you read Praja.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Indriyas in particular are very often called praja actually. But
Yeah.
here, the whole body also
Our
is,
body also.
yeah. Okay, we'll go into the next one. Utpatte mayatim sthanam
उत्पत्तिमायति स्थानं
Shanam
vibhutvam chaiva panchadha
विभुत्वं
Vibhutvam
चैव
cheva
पञ्चधा
panchadha
adhyatmam chaiva pranasya vichayamrita
आध्यात्मं चैव
Adhyatmam
प्राणस्य
chaiva pranasya
विज्ञायामृत
mashnute vijnayamrita mashnuta iti.
अश्नुते
Mashnute
विज्ञायामृतमश्नुत इति
vijnayamrita mashnute iti.
Okay, so actually, sorry, I told you Tadesha Shloka meant that one. He says regarding this, ya evam vidwan pranam vedanahasya prajahyate amrito bhavati. About regarding this statement which I have made, there is a praman. Somebody else has said something, and that is the shlok he has given. You remember this had happened in the second chapter also, where he said Tadesha Shloka, and there he gave somebody else's saying. So this is not directly his, but he is quoting somebody else. Utpattim ayatim. The generation of prana, the ayatim, the coming of prana, entry of prana in the body, sthanam, the location of prana in the body, vibhutvam chaiva panchada. It's spread into the body in 5 ways. Adhyatmam chaiva pranasya, and its relation with the soul. And this cha also here must be read as bahya, which also Pippalada has taught what is the external manifestation of prana. Knowing all this, the vidwana is what is missing over here. Amritam ashnute, he attains moksha. And then Vijnaya Amritam Ashnute is repeated to indicate the end of the chapter along with Iti. Iti being the end of the shloka. Okay. Clear?
So he has not told from where this came. He just said that this is the shloka.
Yeah. It may not be verbatim taken from that place also. It may be, worded, just conveying the meaning, which was said elsewhere. Okay, so now, do you remember the 6 questions which were asked? We've kind of covered some in this last.
I can
Yeah.
always go back. You know.
No. You must use your head. Those are fairly logical. So
Yeah,
from
yeah,
there
actually,
is prana born.
Right.
Right. Okay, next. Go ahead.
Where is it situated?
Okay.
No, before that, how does it enter the body?
Yeah. Yes. How does it
How does it
enter
enter?
the body? Yes. Then how does it situate itself in
It
5
exists.
ways?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Bhaya and Adhyatma. What is? How does it separate itself? And then how does it leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then how does it support the external?
Yeah, that is
Bo-
Bhaya and Adhyatma. Okay.
And then internal.
Correct. So in this shloka, actually the leaving is not covered. So again, that shows that it is not Pipala's shloka. Okay, so now are we clear how the prana enters? Don't look, think. How does the prana enter with the body, into the body? With
Based
the
on the
soul.
actions of with the soul and based
Soul,
on the
with the
actions.
soul.
Yeah,
With the
but
soul.
based on the actions. But won't we also take into account based on the actions of the,
That comes under
done of mind?
comes under ayati, comes under enters. How does it enter? Okay, this I mean you can put it this side, that side, however it works for you. It's not very important, but it is the moment the soul is now ready to take part, that is when prana will be born and attached to it. Okay, so it comes before it enters the body. So that is why it is said that prana is born out of the soul. So it is not as if the soul is actually generating the prana, but the soul is the nimitta karan for the creation of prana. So that is why utpatti is soul. Ayati, the entrance in this body is dependent on what was done, the deeds. Okay, because basically that determines this body. Then how it separates itself, that we have discussed in detail today. I think that should not be a problem. Then also how it leaves the body, that we have seen how everything merges finally into chitta, and then udana takes that whole bundle across to the next body. Then
Can I ask you one question? When you say how it separates itself in the body, so if I have to draw a diagram, anatomy of the body, so should I say that the separation into multiple prana happens only in the stomach?
From the nabi, you mean?
Yeah, from the nabi. Because ultimately the food what we take need to be, the energy that is generated from that needs to be transmitted to various organs in the body.
So I would not put it that way.
So which means
because
that needs to be a
actually-
force which needs to carry the energy from, from the digested food to various parts of the body. Then should I say that, that should be a movement upward, there should be a movement downward. So should I say that central processing unit is only the...
No, see, don't go against what is being said, because we don't know enough, right? And none of us are sages who can go into meditation and figure these things out ourselves. So we are trying to learn it from people that what is it that this prana is all about. So he has said that the main prana, it resides in your this area. Okay, and this now we are talking
going back to the question.
Full grown human being and not the fetus. There are different things happening in the fetus, so and we are not told about it, so we can imagine that the fetus also has digestion and excretion. So there could be related items over there. However, leave the fetus aside, since we don't know. We will stick to this body which is fully form. In that, it is saying, telling us that prana is the main thing which is situated here, and I have told you that by extension it looks like the whole nervous system is covered under this, and that nervous system is controlling everything within the body. So your contention that
How it separates, how it
yeah,
separates
that
also is
way-
managed by that.
yeah, so it's very difficult to say. And as I told you, you must understand that these are distinctions to for us to figure it, understand it. Okay, because it we like to compartmentalize things and look upon them as this. That is why he is telling us that the one which is taking care of the nervous system is prana, the one which is taking care of the digestive system is samana, the one which is taking of the care of the circulatory system is vyana, the one which is taking care of your excretory and reproductive system is apana, and the one which is taking care of circulation in the blood, in the brain. That is what I think. Okay, as you can see, I am making extensions. But the brain being such a very important part, that the circulation in that area is being separated out and being given over to udana. So it is not as if udana is not part of the circulatory system, and yet it is being separated. The circulatory system itself is being divided into two, and then we are being told that udana plays a central role in the movement of the soul from one body to the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's also given the upma, no? Whereas a Raja who divides his Jagir kind of.
Job into,
So,
yeah.
so this
Yeah,
also
so there
seems to
you-
fall in that.
There you may, if you take the upama too far, then you might start thinking that it is something different from prana. So that is what I'm trying to tell you, that while there is a difference between them, there's no difference also between them, because they are all actually handling majorly the involuntary functions in the body, and based on those involuntary functions, they are being given different names. Okay, just like as we saw in the separation of the
Okay.
mind being separated into 4 parts based on the
Correct.
functions. It's not as if the mind
This
is
is also something like that.
split. Yeah.
Not a physical thing, but you have to understand that it is more of a functional
Correct.
aspect.
Exactly.
I think a very gross example would be my hand, so the palm of my hand and thumb and 4 fingers, but it's all the hand. The functions are different.
Yeah, that's a good example. So it is all originating from the palm. Okay. Uma, is your question answered? No. Uma is there?
Uttara, I'm sorry, I need to drop off.
Oh,
I'm really sorry.
okay. You'll have to
Okay.
listen to the video to get the answer to your question.
Yeah, I listened to the video. I got interrupted in between, so I had to rush to the door.
Okay. No issue.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so if you folks don't mind, I will continue for another 5 minutes. I wanted to cover the karanas with you before we end.
Sure.
Okay with me.
Okay, so see that confusion we were having about what kind of karana this is in the among the 3 karanas, which is nimitta, upadana, and sadharan. Upadana is the simplest of all these karanas because it is the material which is transforming. So the material itself which is transforming is the upadan karan. If something does not exist in the final transform, then it is not an upadan karan. It is either a nimitta karan or it is a sadharan karan. So that is first thing, you should have no confusion about what is an upadan karan. Now nimitta karan and sadharan karan, one can have some doubt. So the way you have to separate it is that nimit is the karan which instigates the change, which actually causes the change, which is directly responsible for the change. That is the nimitta karan. And those which are responsible for the change from the side, for example, like we saw time, space, these are also all karanas only into the making of a transform. but they are not really causing the transform. They always exist. They need to exist for a transform to exist, to come to being, but they are not causing that transform. So whatever is causing directly, and even among the causes, the most important ones, those are called nimitta, and the smaller ones are called are put into sadharan. So taking that potter's wheel again, the clay which forms the pot is the upadan karan. There is nothing else. Only the clay is forming the pot. That is the upadan karan. Then now the potter is the one who decides, I want to make this pot like this. Therefore, he is the nimitta karan. Now the wheel is also involved in the transformation of the clay into the pot, but it is not directly responsible in the transformation, and the stick also. So all these are general sadharan karanas. Okay, so that is how you can distinguish. I had told for a question which Anuj had asked, that for the creation of a baby, what is the nimitta karan, what is the upadan karan? And I had told you that the parents are partially nimit and partially upadan. So I thought I will tell you a little more on that. So see, the DNA material which the parents provide go into the making of the baby. So that is the upadan karan, which is coming from both father and mother. Then mother is the one who is involved in the original baby, in providing the material which gets transformed into the cells of that baby. So she is providing material from her own body. So actually it is fluids which are external to our body, but let us for the time being think that, okay, it is part of the mother's body only, which is being fed into the baby. So the mother provides further upadan karan in the generation of the baby. But they are actually nimitta karanas for providing a body to the soul. They are both not linked to the movement of the soul, to the entry of the soul into that cell. They are only being the nimit in that process. They are only bringing the soul and the body together as far as that is concerned. So they are both nimitta and upadan karanas as far as the baby is concerned. That is also possible, as we are seeing in this special case. Is that clear? Any questions are there?
Yeah, later on in the not just the food that the mother gives right from breast milk, etc. Of course, they're all upadana. They provide a certain samskara and education, etc. They would all go under what the because body is not just
So
not
you think
just
about
food.
it. Yeah, suppose the mother is, let us say, even teaching the language to the child. Okay, so what is causing the generation of that knowledge in the child?
Of course, its own ability to grasp is the primary reason, but also the agent of teaching is very critical in the whole thing.
So the
I think
agent,
it's the mother's thing to teach the child also. That is the motivating factor there. The child would not want to actually even
so
exert
both of
himself.
you say used motivating factor, agent. So that is the giveaway names for nimitta karan. So now think of the upadan karan. What is the upadan karan? And we have only 10 minutes left. What is it which is getting transformed to produce knowledge? In
Buddhi.
Buddhi, their own buddhi. The
Correct.
child's.
Their own buddhi. Okay, so the these are transformations in the intellect. Okay, intellect running down to the brain. Even the gross brain will be affected in some way. So all those changes are happening in this subtle and gross matter. They are the upadan karanas. Okay, then sadharan karana. What will be the sadharan karana for
Having a school or having a teacher or capable people around you, or for example musicians, you pick up faster if you have the environment of music at home, so on and so
or
forth.
even the things which you are using for the purpose of
Notes.
transmitting, like we are having Zoom right now, so the Zoom will be sadharan karana, the computer is a sadharan karana, it's a light,
books.
etc., etc. Books, all these things.
But food goes as upadana to the body, but for the whole union of soul and body, it is just sadharana.
Food is upadana, because food
Upadana.
is getting transformed into your body in some way, either as energy or as matter itself, like things which
Okay.
blood or cellular material, all that will originate from food in some way.
That is with respect to body, it is very obvious that it is upadana.
Huh.
But for the prana itself, it is incidental, I guess, because it can
Prana,
exist without the body.
No, I think Anuj's question was we were discussing the other day, right? Why is the soul, taking birth again? And then finally we concluded that we were on the wrong line and it is avidya that is causing the soul to come. So in that context, I think he's trying to understand where does food stand, like the body stand. The body actually provides
right, Anuj,
material.
I
for
don't
the-
think you are asking that. Is that what you are asking?
Well, in a sense, my question was, it is very clear with respect to sharira, how we identify the food, etc. But when it comes to the prana, buddhi, and then this food, what is sharira to prana? I mean, that kind of thing.
So see, the subtle prana cannot, does not have any role. It has a role in your body only when it is transformed into this gross prana, which is being called vayu. Okay, in all its various forms. So if we see vayu as pressure, force, energy, in all those various forms, prana is there in the body as this apana, samana, etc., etc. Okay, in the subtle body, the prana has no role, and so prana in its subtle form does not exist, and for its gross form, it requires the gross body material, which is
So there the body will be what kind of a karana, upadan only?
where
In this case, when the subtle
Which case?
when the subtle prana is actually manifesting into the gross prana, it requires the body, right? So here the body will be upadan itself.
for what? First, you must be clear about the transformation you are looking at. Okay,
The
what
subtle
is
to
the
gross.
transformation you are looking at?
Subtle to gross.
Subtle to gross. Okay.
So
Yes,
here
the body is the upadan karan, and the subtle prana will be the nimitta karan.
okay. Okay.
It will instigate that change, and then it
In
will
the body.
and it will separate into these 5 areas and start functioning in the body, make the body function.
Anuj, is that what you wanted?
Yeah, no, I think I understood. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly. I think you asked it correctly. Prana from subtle to gross. The explanation is very clear now.
Okay, good. So shall we do Shanti
We'll
part
think
now?
more, but
Yes, please, you must contemplate on these issues. They are not understood in one shot, and they are not understood by just this one session. The more you think, the more you will discover.
No, what I'm amazed is, I don't want to, for example, look for correlation with the modern science understanding of the body, etc., and say, hey, this was thought of that. The fact that so many years ago they sought to think through these things and arrive at certain logical explanations is amazing for me.
So I actually want to tell you that even this Radhakrishnan's book is there, in which he does not explain properly, and then he says this shows a level of knowledge. And those times, in a derogatory fashion, he says that basically these guys, they didn't know anything, and they are saying anything they feel like. That Udan
That is a
taking,
totally foolish outlook.
taking the soul from the body to the other. How can Vayu take?
Yeah, if we ask Radhakrishnan about nuclear energy, what will he know? Nothing. So, I mean, it's totally irrelevant.
So I want to tell you in what you are saying, that because so many things we are discovering now that they are correct, this should increase our belief in the system that maybe these things are also right. If we were had 0% belief in it, at least we should become 50%. I, of course, am 100%. That is why I try to explain these things in some fashion in a scientific way. But at least you should come on top of the fence. If yoga, which today also we did not understand, now we are saying, oh, it has these dramatic effects. If pranayama, which still is not understood, has these dramatic effects that it can increase your body temperature, lower your body temperature, calm your mind, all these things are not understood by modern science. So when we have all these examples, what we should understand that yes, maybe there is something here modern science doesn't know about it, and it needs to look into it. And I hope some young people will be listening and they will do some research. Who knows? Maybe this is the right way to look at things, and the way we are looking at it right now is not right. Okay, let's say our prayer. Om Shraddham Pratar Havamahe.
Om Shraddham Pratar Havamahe.
Havamahe.
Shraddham Madhyam Dinam Pari.
Shraddham Dinam Pari.
Shraddham Suryasya Nimruchi.
Shraddham
Suryasya
Nimruchi.
Shraddhe Shraddhapayehana.
Shraddhe Shraddhapayehana.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Dhanyawada.
Dhanyavada.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Traj.
Most welcome.
Bye.
Bye.